Imagine being a mother, waiting for your child to return from an outing with their father. At first, you don't get too concerned when they seem to be running only a few minutes late. But when the minutes turn to hours and you can't contact the father, you realize that he isn't bringing your child home. Parental child abduction occurs when a parent or family member takes or keeps a child without the other parent being aware and for an extended amount of time. Parental child abduction is not an isolated issue. It is a global issue and can affect all countries and social groups. Most people in today's society are not sure or do not know what parental child abduction is. Many people also believe that family kidnappings are more often committed by males rather than the correct answer of females. So get your gavel ready while I inform you about the history, law, and legal remedies on parental child abduction. According to the website Child Find of America, there's an article titled Facts and Stats About Missing Children, accessed on July 22nd of this year, that states, an estimated 203,900 children were victims of a family abduction in 1999, and an estimated 2,300 children go missing every day in the United States alone. International child abduction is one form of parental child abduction. International child abduction occurs when a parent, relative, or acquaintance of a child leaves the country with the child in violation of a custody decree or visitation order. While the number of cases of international child abduction is small in comparison to domestic cases, they are often the most difficult to resolve due to the involvement of conflicting international jurisdictions. 2/3 of international parental child abduction involve mothers who often allege domestic violence. Domestic parental child abduction is the most common form of parental child abduction. 78% of abductors are the non-custodial parent. 82% of abductors intend to affect custody permanently. Now that you are familiar with some of the history of parental child abduction, I will move on as I describe the laws on parental child abduction. The laws regarding child abduction vary throughout different states and countries. On the website HG Legal Resources, there is an article titled Child Abduction Law, Child Kidnapping Law, written by attorneys and experts worldwide and accessed on July of 2017 that states, in many U.S. states, if there is no formal custody order and the parents are not living together, the abduction of the child from the other parent is not considered a criminal offense. When a stranger abducts a child, it can be for different reasons: abuse, torture, murder, extortion, ransom, or to raise a child as his or her own are all motives for abduction. Although these terms are often used interchangeably, abduction is generally distinguished from kidnapping because kidnapping requires the use or the threat of force when taking and or holding the kidnapping victim. Congress has enacted many civil and criminal laws to address abductions, and the U.S. is also a party to a treaty aimed at resolving international child abduction cases. One of the major laws is called the ABA, Center on Children and the Law. The states signatory to the present convention firmly convinced that the interests of children are of paramount importance in matters relating to their custody, desiring to protect children internationally from the harmful effects of their wrongful removal or retention, and to establish procedures to ensure their prompt return to the state of their habitual residence, as well as to secure protection for rights of access. Another law is called the Federal Parent Locator Service and is available in all custody cases and makes the Federal Fugitive Felony Act applicable to interstate child abductions. Now that we know some of the laws that were put in place because of parental child abduction, here are some actions that can be taken if a child were to be abducted. There's obviously going to be a series of actions that need to be taken if a child were to be parentally kidnapped. According to the Family Find Law, I found an article titled What Legal Remedies Are Available If a Parent Abducts a Child, which I last accessed on July 23rd of this year, that stated, in these situations, a parent's remedies include relying on the criminal justice system and petitioning for a different custody arrangement to prevent future repeat incidents. Though law enforcement officials are typically reluctant to intervene in family issues, when it comes to abductions, often law enforcement is the best, if not only, remedy available. Parental abduction in many cases will implicate numerous federal and state laws, as well as state and federal authorities, including the FBI. A good bet in these situations is to leave the search to the experienced officers and allow the justice system to run its course. Parents are also free to hire their own private investigators who may be able to devote additional time and resources to this case. Once the child is located and returned home, you'll want to do as much as possible to prevent a future recurrence. If there was joint custody previously and the other parent took the child, they have violated the court custody order and denied you your custody rights. This will likely damage the abducting parent's standing in family law court and could lead to a temporary or even permanent elimination of their custody rights. In closing, I have just informed you of the history, law, and what to do in a parental child abduction situation. I could not imagine the grief and emotional stress that accompanies a situation like parental child abduction. For a child to be taken from one parent without the other having prior knowledge is a horrendous experience that hopefully no one in this class will have to deal with. If for whatever reason this happens to you, it is vital to know the history, law, and legal remedies on parental child abduction.